Hey guys, Krootman here, and it's Halloween, which means we are basically at Christmas if you ask 5 out of 10 people, which means that everybody and their mother are looking to either buy or sell GPUs, either to fund a new build, upgrade another build, wait for Blackwell, wait for RDNA 2 or RDNA 4, who knows. But this is where you see the most movement on the GPU market during the year. And I think a lot of people have questions on whether or not they should upgrade, whether they should wait, and at what price they should do so. So in this video, I'm going to go over all of that for Nvidia GPUs only. Sorry, AMD, I'll get you on the next one. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of GPU Market Watch, the Gamers Edition. All right, so for those of you tuning in for the first time, here are the GPU Market Watch rules. 1. Used prices are based on eBay sold listings. I get the average sales from the previous week or so. 2. Sales are only of used working GPUs. Broken and for parts GPUs are not included, nor are crazy high outliers that were most likely canceled by the seller. 3, if I have any new GPUs on here, which basically only applies really to the 40 series, they are based on trusted links like Best Buy, sold by Amazon, and not third-party sellers. 4, I will go in depth on a few GPUs, and you can always refer to the chart if I don't talk about one that interests you. And remember, you can always probably find better deals than on eBay if you're willing to really hunt. But eBay is the great outlier, and I think it's better to get the average price of GPUs and not just like, hey, I got a really good deal on one. Because let's be real, everybody who lists a GPU to sell on anywhere that's not eBay bases their prices off eBay and either goes up or down from there. For the Gamers Edition, we have split all of the GPUs into price brackets, and basically what I will do is I will tell you whether or not you should just avoid it at that price bracket, whether it's a maybe, or whether it's the must buy. I think the results will surprise you. I'm going for best value to performance in each category. All right, so without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so what you've all been waiting for. So let's get the easy one out of the way. We're going to go with $60 and under in the first category. There's a clear winner, the 970. eBay market value of $46. Price I'd pay is about 35-ish. Probably end up somewhere in the middle at 40. You really can't beat this GPU for 40 bucks. You basically just toss it in any kind of PC and you can expect 30 FPS basically on any game at 1080p. And if you lower the resolution, you can get a little more. Basically, this thing is a house for how much you pay. You can't beat it. All right, so the next category we're going to go to is the $75 to $140 range. I think the answer on this one will surprise you. First, we're going to go with the ones you should just need to avoid. The 980 Ti, the 1066 gig, and basically all the 16 series. They're just not worth it. It really comes down to the 1070 Ti, and the 1080 because they're far and away the best ones you can get at that price point. The 16 series just costs too much, and they're basically just bad 10 series. And at $100, the 1080 will give you 1080p gaming basically on whatever game you want at 60 FPS or more. You'll probably get more most of the time. And you can even get some games in 1440p at 30 to 60 FPS. I've definitely pushed this thing way harder than I thought it was capable of going. The 1080 is your can't miss pick. Now, obviously, if you can get a 1070 or a 1070 Ti for like $75-ish, I would probably go with that, but the 1080 is my pick at that category. Next, we're going to move on to the $140 to $200 price range. You're basically at the 1080 Ti and all of the the low end 20 series, like the 2060 Super, 2070 Super, and like the 3060. This one was an easy one for me. All of the 20 series are still overpriced for some reason. I don't understand why. And the 3060 is definitely overpriced considering it's basically just a 1080, like a mix between a 1080 and a 1080 Ti. Sure, you get ray tracing and DLSS on the 3060, but honestly, you're better off just using the money that you save from downgrading from a 3060 to like a 1080 Ti, which has more VRAM, and using it for a better CPU, which will give you better performance at 1080 anyway. So the 1080 Ti is my can't miss pick. Its market price is about $160. I would like to pay between 140 to 150, and that's definitely possible. If you can score a 2070 Super for like, I don't know, maybe like 140 to 130, which is below market, then maybe, but otherwise the 1080 Ti is the can't miss pick in this price bracket. All right, next, you're at the $200 to $250 price range, which basically is just the 2080, the 2080 Super, and the 3060 Ti. I think the 3060 Ti is the can't miss for that. They're at about $215 right now. If you can snag one for about 180 to 190, which I definitely feel is possible, especially if you get a lower end model like maybe a Zotac or, an MSI one, like a twin fan that people don't like, you really can't go wrong. I would avoid the 2080 and the 2080 Super, as I just think they're currently overpriced for what they can do in the market based on their current eBay market value. Next, we've got the $275 to $350 price range. This one was honestly a no-brainer. It basically comes down to the 2080 Ti, the 3070, and the 3070 Ti. The 2080 Ti has the most VRAM, it does have ray tracing, and you can use FSR on it if you really want upscaling, but I've done extensive 2080 Ti testing, and the 2080 Ti is a 1440p GPU that you don't need upscaling with, and if you're willing to get one of the lower GPUs that people think lower of, especially the ones with the green PCBs, you can snag these things for like $260 or maybe even $250, which is way less than the $275-ish to $280 that the 3070 is going for. I think the 2080 is trending downwards, the 2080 Ti I mean, whereas the 3070 and the 3070 Ti are trending upwards, which doesn't make sense to me, as I think the 2080 Ti is by far the best choice in this group for gaming. Now obviously if you can get a 3070 Ti, somewhere in the range of 275 to 275-ish, I think I'd get that one. But for me, the winner on this bracket is the 2080 Ti. And don't forget, the VRAM will help it age better. Okay, the next category is 375 to 500. You have the 3080 Ti, the 3080, the 4060 Ti, 8 gig. The 16 gig just isn't real and you should just never buy it. And the 4070. And if you ask me, the 4070 and the 4060 Ti are still way overpriced for what you get, so I'd avoid those. It comes down to the 3080 and the 3080 Ti, and the 3080 can be had for, $375 to $350 right now. Its eBay value is $375. So if you can score one for $350, it is far and away going to be the best value in that category. Can't miss. And it's basically rivaling the 2080 Ti in terms of how incredible the value proposition is for that. The next category is going to be, $500 to $800 price range. We basically have the 4070 Super, the 4070 Ti, and the 3090. The 4070 Super is hands down the winner, only because it's relatively cheap. It's cheaper than the 4070 Ti on eBay at $568. If you can get one of these at $550, it's a no-brainer, as the 4070 Super is basically the 3090 Ti when you give it a little bit of overclocking push. Now, obviously, if you can find a 4070 Ti for the same price as a 4070 Super, I would get that, but they tend to go for a little bit more on eBay because people value them more, and they are a little bit faster. Finally, we've got the $800 to $1,200 price range, and we've got the 3090 Ti, the 4070 Ti Super, the 4080, and the 4080 Super. I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't like any GPUs at this price point. If you're looking to spend up to $1,200 on a GPU, your best bet is to wait until the holidays to see what the 5080 looks like when it drops in January and what the availability will be of it. Now, if you can't wait and you just want something now and you think the prices are going to be outrageous, I would look to grab a 4080 for, eBay says they go for about $924. I've seen them sometimes at $775 to $800. I frankly just bought one at $600, but I admit that was a pretty good deal. So, if you can get one for about $800, that would be what I would go for. But again, I would avoid all GPUs in this bracket, and I would just wait to see what the 5090 or the 5080 brings. And then finally, we've got the 4090 in its own bracket. There's not much to say about this that's already talked about. Its value has not gone down. You can't get one cheaper than 1800 basically anywhere. And frankly, if you're going to spend 1800, just wait and see what the 5090 brings. So there's no reason to buy a 4090 right now unless you think the 5090 is going to be stupidly expensive and it's going to sell out instantly, causing the 4090 to go up in value somewhat. I don't think that could happen, but I'm not willing to say it's never going to happen because I've seen crazier, and who knows what the crypto mining and AI markets are going to do. Anything above the 4070 Ti, I would just wait for the 5000 series. So that's it for this video. I hope this all helped. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this, let me know in the comments down below. I will be releasing another one of these probably in about 3 weeks to give you an update and see what happens with the prices. I think you're going to notice a lot of the 30 series GPUs trending upwards and some of the 20 series and 16 series trending downwards. So keep that in mind if you are waiting or if you need to wait a few weeks to buy a GPU. As far as the 40 series, I honestly could see them trending downwards as well, but, I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the market does in the next few months, and I think it's going to be really exciting, especially since we have basically confirmed that that Nvidia and AMD will be releasing new GPUs for CES. That's it for this video. I hope it wasn't too long. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe for more gaming GPU content. Krootman is out.